Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with the review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, The Reunion Part 1, you guys. So it's Monday morning and I'm feeling good. I was able to get up early, 6:30. Me and Blue went on a 2-mile walk. Got back to the house, 7:30, still had time to have breakfast before work is starting. And so I also have time to do this video. Like, I'm just happy because I love when I get a good start on my day. And it feels like I've accomplished some things. So Monday, starting the week off great, you guys, and here to talk to you guys about this reunion. And you guys know how these reunions go. It's just a rehashing of what's happened in the season. So and then as far as this reunion, it really was nothing that was all that exciting. So I was like, I feel like I can get this done before I have to get started with my work day. We keep the same format. Let's talk about what everybody has on, and then we'll get on into the story. So, or to the reunion. So, first of all, you guys know the theme was down in the dungeon, because Kandi has been very smart to capitalize on every single business that the woman has. Just kind of making sure that she uses her platform correctly. Everybody can learn a lesson from Kandi. So that is the theme. And, it's a fun theme. That was what carried them through basically this season, the whole situation with Bolo. So I can see why they would do it. Okay. Now, as far as what everybody had on, for the most part, I felt like everybody looked fine. When I say who I felt looked the best, of course, I would think it was Porsha, Kenya, and Cynthia. Kandi looked fine. It just looked like she had on a costume. And so, when we have these reunions, I feel like we looking for the glamour, we're looking for the gowns, we're looking to see what they have on, and it just felt very costumey to me. As far as what Drew had on, I could not really tell what she had on. I'm not sure if she had on shorts. I mean, it was some sort of half, leg out, side thing. I don't know. But from what I saw, didn't make me go like, oh, what the hell does she have on? It's just that it wasn't anything memorable, I think. But of course, my best was maybe Cynthia's dress. I think I loved Cynthia's dress. I loved Kenya's dress. I loved the way it came all the way up her neck, and it was just all of this business. I mean, party in the front, and just Porsha, actually that dress reminded me very much of the dress that she wore to Cynthia's wedding. So I loved the dress, but it just felt like she'd already done it before. So that's why I was just like, okay, but Porsha looked great. Those three looked great. Kandi and Drew just was, but nobody I could say, they just looked terrible. And of course, Andy is going to always be Andy. So how did the show start? The show started with everybody getting in, early in the morning, I'm presuming. They filmed this in New York, I believe. So, they're getting in, they're getting their makeup done, they're getting their hair done, they're getting their clothes on. Andy goes to visit everybody in their rooms, see how they're doing. Drew says she's nervous. This is her first reunion. Kenya says she's not looking forward to seeing Drew or Porsha. They're not her favorites. Otherwise, she's cool with the rest of the girls. Kandi, we saw that she's not a morning person. And when Andy asked her, did she bring Bolo? No, she did not bring Bolo. Then we all come on out onto the stage, and everybody's bedroom boudoir bondage finest. And I just told you how I feel like everybody looks. When Andy sees Kandi, he was just like, so is this where I go, Mistress Angel? And she was just like, I love them on their knees. So fun, right? Okay. So everybody sits on down, and we got Mistress Angel, we got Peach Juice, we got Chocolate, we got 50 Cent, and we got Lickety Split. Okay, let's get to the reunion. So we start with Porsha. They show her package, her relationship with the super, her civil activism that she's doing here in Atlanta, and actually all over, because she's working with Until Freedom, Tamika Mallory's foundation. So we see that. And Andy just talks to her about, you know, what's been going on here in Georgia specifically, the fact that we turned blue, you know, how everybody was so happy. You know, she said that Stacey Abrams was our shero and that she was able to just mobilize and get people to do what they needed to do. So are you guys inspired by Porsha? Drew says, yeah, she's very much inspired by Porsha. You know, evidently she worked on a PSA about gun violence with Porsha. She's just, whenever Porsha asks her to do something, she is going to be there. But it seems that Porsha did not include everybody on this PSA. So I don't know who was excluded, but I do know that Kenya says that you didn't include us. So it's Kenya and some other people. I know there's some side shit going on with Porsha and Kandi in particular, and that's why it sounds like they're trying to drum up maybe some beef between Kandi and Porsha again. But that's separate, but maybe included in this. So anyway, Kenya's saying that they weren't included in the PSA. And, Porsha was just like, why would I invite somebody that speaks so mean and hateful about me to do something, but Kenya's whole thing is if it's all about the message, Black Lives Matter, civil activism, our little petty differences shouldn't matter. Okay, well, yeah, in a perfect world, that would be correct. But I could see why Porsha would not want to invite Kenya when she and Kenya don't get along. Okay, and it's not even that Kenya and her don't get along. It's just that Kenya has downplayed or has denied or just said that she doesn't believe that that Porsha is doing it for the right reasons. And, has said things like she just feels like Porsha is, capitalizing on this. And Porsha has been very offended by this. And this was what I was worried about, what would happen when they were talking about bringing that storyline onto Real Housewives of Atlanta. I mean, I realize that is part of Porsha's real life, so that's why she wanted to bring it on the show. But, when we're talking about something so serious as Breonna Taylor's murder, Black Lives Matter, just the line, when you talk about bringing something so serious to something so trivial as a reality show, it can get messy like this. They get to arguing, Porsha was just like, what have you done, Kenya? And Kenya says, don't question my activism. And then Porsha says, but you're questioning mine. The fact that they were left out, Kenya says, feels like that discredits Porsha in some kind of way, that she's bringing the personal into something that's very public and social and community-wide, like we should be doing this together. But I can say that if the shoe was on the other foot, I don't see Kenya inviting Porsha to do something, so it's easy for Kenya to say how she feels about Porsha, left her out of things, but would Kenya really do the same if the shoe was on the other foot? Probably not. But enough about that. We jump to the super. Well, that relationship was just a casualty of the pandemic. He was sick of me, I was sick of him. But right now they're in a good place where they're just, co-parenting little baby PJ, and they're just a family in that way. But other than that, no, they're not together. She has been dating. I went on a date. Toya set me up, and it was terrible. Girl, why would you go on a date that Toya set you up with? I mean, jumping over to Kenya, where do things stand with she and Mark? Well, they're still in court. And now Kenya has decided that she wants full custody of little baby Brooklyn. She ain't playing with Mark's ass no damn more. She's filed for divorce. And as far as him asking for alimony, she said that Mark said that we misunderstood the New York law and that he never was asking for alimony. So no, he is not asking for alimony. And Andy says, well, what are they fighting? What is he fighting for in court? And she says, only to keep Brooklyn off of the show. Okay, he does not want her on this show. And it sounds like it's just kind of spiteful and just something that I guess Mark feels that he can control, because that's the only thing he really can control in Kenya's life. That is his child. So he just strikes me as a person that wherever he can wield the control, that's where he's going to do it. Because what harm is it being Brooklyn on the show? She's a baby, so it doesn't seem like she doesn't have a storyline. It's not like she's 6, 7, 8, kind of like Drew's kid, where, you have pulled them into the storyline and then they can become fodder for social media and people saying mean shit and all of that, So, but she's a baby right now. So he just seems like he's just trying to be controlling as usual. Andy asked her why did she get so mad at Toya, but didn't get so mad at Kandi for spreading basically the same rumor about her marriage. And Kandi and Kenya both kind of laughed because I guess they did have some words off camera. But Kenya said that we did talk about it, but the reason why she didn't get so upset is because she feels like Kandi still has her best interest at heart. She and Don Juan, she feels like they actually do care about her. So even though she didn't like that, she, so I guess that kind of means that maybe she doesn't trust Toya. I mean, she shouldn't, if you ask me, because Toya was too free with the lips when she was telling her business. Andy says it's worth noting that Porsha did stop Toya, when she was trying to tell them about the alimony. And Kenya says, I know, I did see that, and thank you, for doing that. Well, Porsha, why did you do that? She was just like, I don't know. I just thought that Toya was crazy. But anyway, the relationship with Mark is still a mess. It has not gone anywhere. They're still fighting in court. She's getting a divorce, okay? One of the viewers said that they feel like her relationship with Mark is a direct reflection on her relationship with her mother. And she agrees. She said that in the show, that she's always searching for some sort of love or some sort of acceptance and familiarity and comfort with people that she can't get with her mother. So a lot of times she picks the wrong men, or she picks men that she thinks that she can get that from, and usually she won't. Then they asked Drew, why was she talking about Kenya's marriage when her shit is fucked up with Ralph? Okay, even though she's worked hard to change that narrative. You guys know how the show started and we all could not stand Ralph. And then it was like, zip, they cut that. They completely redirected the narrative on Drew and Ralph's relationship. All of a sudden it's a perfect marriage. My kids are perfect, all of this. And we didn't hear any more talk about all of her suspicions at the beginning of the season. So they tried to change that. Drew said that she felt like Kenya attacked her from the beginning, called her a stray. Kenya said that was really an inside joke between me and Cynthia, which Cynthia did agree. But if you're not on the inside and you the brunt of the joke, then you're not gonna get it. So of course Kenya says that she's sorry, or she apologizes that that upset Drew, but she felt like Drew had tweeted some old shady shit talking about her family being all under one roof. Okay. And, sis, you good? Talking about Kenya. And Kenya said, honey, first of all, your family is not all under one roof because your baby daddy is under the roof of a jail. Okay. So now it's, I was like, okay. It's clear also that Kenya and Drew don't like each other. I just feel like Drew Kenya is just an easy target. It seems like that's the person to come after when you come on the show. All right. As far as Kenya's Native American costume, she said that she has some Native American blood within her, and that she has family that's lived on reservations, and she felt like she was honoring something so beautiful. But then once she was educated and found out that people don't like, Native Americans do not like for folks to wear their customary dress as a costume because it feels like you're mocking them, that this is really something that is serious to them. And you guys, we all know about why you should not wear that as a costume. So even though I still don't understand why Kenya would not know that, she apologizes. She sounds like she knows now that she should not have done that. And Porsha says, I find it really funny that when you make a mistake, when you apologize, you want the immediate understanding. But when it comes to somebody else, you never extend that to anyone else. Which is true. But I think that all of the women are that way in some way or another. When you have a bone to pick with somebody, you don't try to give them any leeway. So yes, Kenya is asking for people to forgive her for things that she's done, but she won't forgive other people for the things that they've done. And so I can see what Porsha is talking about. She mentions that when she talked about the Underground Railroad, yes, that was very, very irresponsible, and that she should not have said that, and she had to, talk about it on Watch What Happens Live and apologize for saying something so ignorant. And now here 7 years later, you are still bringing up the fact that she mentioned that on the show. And, you just not gonna never extend the understanding that you're asking for everybody else to give you. Kenya says she feels like Porsha doesn't admit when people have done things wrong, like your sister wore the feathers as a costume, and Drew dressed up as it, as a costume as well. Drew said that it was something that she was doing in New Orleans with her family, and it wasn't worn as a costume. They were actually having some sort of ceremony, and so even though Kenya said bullshit, it was Halloween, you guys was all dressed up, it was your family, whatever. But still, Kenya says, why can't we all just admit that we make mistakes? But that's the point that Porsha's trying to make right now. Like, we made the mistake, or they made the mistake. Porsha's being pinned to the wall for something that her sister did, That's not what Porsha did. So how you mad at Porsha? And how do we not know that Porsha didn't get on the phone with her sister and be like, girl, that is not okay. You should not have done that. Porsha's not going to throw her sister under the bus, but she very well could have had a conversation with her like, girl, that ain't the look. Okay. But whatever, you guys. Like I said, Drew and Porsha against Kenya, never going to be friends. And then on to Drew. So all this season, I've been trying to figure out if I like Drew or not. I had already decided that she was not my favorite person, but I could tolerate her. But I think that I've come to the conclusion that I just don't like Drew. Because I feel like she's puts on for the camera. I feel like she's extra for the camera. And I know that we working hard. We trying to keep this peach. We want to stay on the show. I get all of that. But it just seems like it's 20 on 10 all the time when it comes to Drew. And I'm just like, ugh. Maybe she'll change if she does come back. I don't even know if she's coming back to the show. Every time they try to bring somebody new on, it just doesn't seem to stick. So we'll see. But anyway, Drew, we talk about her son trying to get the relationship together with the father, the biological father, old daddy. And, they commend Ralph for, being instrumental in making sure that they have a relationship. Ralph is the only husband that's on the stage right now. I was just like, well, we fixing to roast Ralph. And so anyway, thank you, Ralph, for making that connection for the boy and his dad. All right. We throw in a part about Candy and Block. We find out that Candy and Block have settled their child support case, that Block had to give a lump sum amount to Riley, and then I guess they've set up some sort of payment system where he's getting that money to Riley. They asked Candy, why did she go after that? And like many of you guys told me, I've never been in this situation. So that's why my thinking may have been different from you guys. But many of you guys was like, no, Roxanne, that is Riley's money. So if she wants her money, regardless of how much money Candy has, that is rightfully Riley's money. Okay. And Riley wanted it. So he got to pay it. And I had to respect that. Okay. So yes. If he got the monies now, and Riley is in school, and I'm sure she could always take an extra $1, okay? Because, honey, living in New York, I can imagine what that damn shit. So she wanted the money. She got the money. They threw that in because somebody DeCarcia pointed out on Twitter that part with Candy was thrown in or edited in between Drew's conversation, or, about Ralph and all with the custody with the baby daddy and her little boy, because it felt like maybe they didn't have anywhere else to put it. They wanted to make sure that we found out about Block paying Riley's back child support. But otherwise, it didn't really happen the way that it did. But that happens throughout the show. They edit in and out a lot of parts you can always tell. I mean, especially like if we were looking at a Real Housewives of Potomac reunion, honey, their hair be different, makeup be different. You know, you can tell they done sweated their makeup off, or they curls and fell out of their hair. And then next scene you see everybody is all spruced up again because they already filmed that earlier. So that happens. But anyway, so we find out about the blocking Candy and Riley situation. But then we jump back to Drew. Drew mentions to Kenya that she was upset that Kenya had said that the scene about old daddy was cringy, which it was weird. It was a weird scene, but Drew didn't like the fact that she said that. Drew said it was hurtful because, you know, she's doing the best that she can. And, you know, as a parent, that's all you can do. I always say that, you know. And so when somebody gets on Twitter and says something about her, you know, it really upset her. It hurt her to her core. And she starts crying. And she felt like it was irresponsible. And Kenya said, basically, after Drew had then went through all of that and crying and needed a napkin and all of that, Kenya said that her opinion doesn't change. Okay. Kenya says she wasn't talking about the boy, which she wasn't. But, you know, just to be safe, we don't need to talk about anything when the kids are concerned. When the kids are involved in a scene, that is just something that we need to just lay off, okay? Because people and Kenya did it too, because when Kenya was pissed at Nene, when Nene was calling her a buffalo, okay? And Kenya felt like she was talking about the baby, but Nene really wasn't talking about the baby. Nene was talking about Kenya. So this situation is very similar, where Kenya is really talking about Drew and Ralph and not about the son. But, you know, it's just like the same way we said that Nene probably should have never said that about Kenya being a pregnant woman and all of that, you know, with her being with child, the same way Kenya probably shouldn't have said that about Drew. But honey, Drew just went on and on and on. And she's disappointed in Kenya. She's never going to forgive Kenya. Fine. You might not even be on the show next season, so it won't even matter. Do you guys think that Drew is coming back? What do you guys think? Every time they bring a new person, I'll be like, this one ain't gonna stick either. And side note, y'all saw Fallon get a divorce from her husband. They were only married for 2 years, but they have kids together. I thought I read that right, that they have kids together. So maybe they had kids before they got married, but then they got married, and then 2 years later, child, they getting a divorce. I said, oh, I bet you that LaToya had a lot to say about that. And now we'll see if that is able to parlay into a position on Real Housewives of Atlanta for her, you know, going through a divorce. Fallon would be a good addition. Okay. We're going to see what her money like when with her and old man's, you know, break up. But, anyway, getting back on track. Ralph, you know, what was happening in Tampa, bruh? Okay. Well, why did you have to go on down there? And, he says that the beach is his refuge. He likes to go. And Candy was just like, well, you had to pass how many beaches to get down to Tampa? I know, exactly. I mean, that's what I said. What had happened, girl? So now they want to know. So Ralph, good-naturedly, you know, he's sitting up there, had to know that it was going to come down to this. Drew, did you ever think that Ralph was cheating on you? And Drew says that he's never given her any reason to believe that he was cheating. I said, well, disappearing for 3 days would put an eyebrow up for me, not necessarily thinking that he was cheating, but that would have definitely came up, okay? Like, why else would you just disappear? I mean, I guess there's many reasons why you could, but yeah, we're going to have a conversation if it was a bitch down there in Tampa. Drew says that they went to counseling for it, that he showed her receipts from the hotel. I mean, the hotel doesn't say. You can very easily put on a reservation as just one person in the room, and you can pull 5, 6 people in there. We used to do it when I was in college all the time. Y'all, we all be up in that room, just one person coming in with the bag. So, you know, you can do that. She said that he showed receipts of when he went out to eat. It was just one person. Again, you can be very clever. You can get money out the bank and you could pay cash for their plate and you can put your plate on a credit card. If a person want to cheat, they're going to cheat. That's really just kind of what it is. So, like Candy said, when they asked her, did she believe it? She was just like, it's not up for me to believe, as long as she believe it. They asked the other girls, would that fly over with their man? You know, Candy says absolutely not. Okay. Cynthia says that hashtag chill is very much a rules man. So if he's able to disappear for 3 days and go to Tampa, then I'm able to disappear for 3 days. So basically, if I don't want it to happen to me, I'm not going to do it to you. Ralph says, and besides, you know, Drew got her get back when she went down to South Carolina, or went up to South Carolina and had that thing with Bolo. And Andy says, well, why are we talking about Bolo? You know, how did you feel when you watched it? Did you feel differently than when, you know, she told you? And he said, yeah, when he saw it, of course he felt differently, because it's one thing to hear something, but then when you actually see it, he was upset about it. Then they try to bring up the whole situation with Kenya and Apollo, and how Kenya was inappropriate with Apollo, how Kenya did apologize because the things that she said about Apollo, the fact that he was married to Phaedra, the fact that she and Phaedra weren't friends, you know, she shouldn't even have said the things that she said. Okay. As far as her saying that Ralph was good looking, even though Drew was a drag, you know, her husband looks good, you know, and she did mention that he was buff, you know, nice build or whatever. But to me, that was pretty much it. They try to make it seem like now she's trying to hit on Drew's husband. And I was like, oh my God, we're not about to go down this road again. All right, Kenya is smart enough not to do that. That took a few seasons for her to get rid of that baggage. And for some people, she never will get rid of that baggage, you know? So she's not stupid enough to be trying to hit on Ralph. And don't nobody want Ralph. She can acknowledge that the man is good looking. The rest of it, that is just whatever. Drew's still saying that her relationship is perfect. She says it's perfect in her eyes and in God's eyes. All right. And I mean, I guess that's all that matters. So after that, they get a break. We see Drew and her husband walk into her room, I guess. We see Candy, you know, Candy got to pee, but then she got to take her whole costume off. So yeah, she don't know about that. And then we see Andy go into LaToya's room. She's getting done up, but she doesn't feel well. She says she has a kidney infection. So she's not feeling great, but we see Kenya in her room, and she gets a call from LaToya, and she's pissed because she says one of Drew's assistants came in the room with a camera in her face saying that Drew Sidor found out that you were sick, and, you know, maybe you can take this to feel better. And it was some what is it, vitamin C. And she didn't like that because she felt like Drew was trying to be funny. Okay, so we get back out, about to start the next segment with LaToya. And LaToya says that she's happy to be there, happy to be with all her girls, with the exception of SpongeBob over there talking about Drew. So Kenya was like, oh, we coming out swinging, huh? And LaToya says, yeah, because I'm backstage and I have a cold. And Andy was like, is it a cold or is it a kidney infection? Cold, kidney infection, urinary tract infection, whatever you want to call it, all of those. When I'm in the back, then somebody comes in from Drew's camp, comes in with the camera and says that they're bringing me medicine. And I didn't like that. I didn't think it was funny. And Drew was like, I didn't know anything about it. Ralph didn't know anything about it. You know, I was horrified when I heard that they did that, you know, and that person is gone now. And of course they argue. So it's more arguing. Drew and LaToya. LaToya is pissed. She's already looks like she doesn't want to be there. I'm sitting there distracted by her smashed titty. I was like, girl, can you just pull it up? Now, her dress actually looked cute from what I can tell. She looked very pretty. Her hair was nice. Her makeup was nice. I loved the feathers from what I could see, but child, it was cutting her right here. I was just like, either we gonna pull it up or we gonna smush these boobs together. What we gonna do, child? But that smush right there was killing me. But I'm assuming that next week it's going to pick up. This week was just, you know, it was just whatever. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. Kind of like the way the whole season has been. What did you guys think? All right, you guys, let me get off of here, get on to work. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox, and everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.